Hello and welcome to iCatholic. I'm Wendy Grace. Well, the recent RTÉ Investigates programme, which was looking at the issue of abortion in Ireland, has been described by the pro-life campaign as one of the most partisan pieces of programming in RTÉ's history. Join us me to discuss this. I have Eilís Mulroy of the pro-life campaign. So tell us a little bit about the programme and what you thought of it, Eilís.
Well, the programme was as a result of 7 months of research by an RTÉ team. One would have expected at the end of that we would have got a fairly balanced overview of the abortion question. And instead, I think if you look at it frame by frame, we got a highly partisan production that really only featured one side of the abortion question. If you interrogate all of the facts around the abortion legislation, that programme would have been a very, very different production. For example, the skyrocketing abortion rates. When we were assured before the abortion referendum we wouldn't have huge abortion numbers. We now have near to 40,000 with 10,000 abortions in 2023 alone, and absolutely zero interest in inquiring as to why those abortion rates are so high. Zero interest into looking at all of the negatives that have come about as a result of abortion. And very, very, I think the worst really part of it was excluding the voices of many women and not just discounting the experience of many women. And if you look at something like the 3-day wait period, which was discussed at length on this programme, there was no effort at all to talk to anybody or to interview any woman who had availed of the 3-day wait and who now has a child as a result of that decision.
One of the things I find interesting is, if I was doing an interview in RTÉ, they would be at pains to make sure people knew that I'm coming from a pro-life perspective. And that's fair enough, because you're meant to be upfront about these things. Yet they were showing interviewees and they were kind of presenting them as neutral when they weren't.
That's right. So they had, a number of interviewees that you could say the same about. The one in particular was Dr. Jonathan Lord, who was presented as an obstetrician gynecologist. He was commenting on various elements of the programme, and throughout all of that there was no mention of the fact, either in the introduction or while he was speaking under his name, there was no mention of the fact that he's medical director for MSI Reproductive Choices, which is one of the biggest it's the biggest abortion providers in the UK. If it was a person who was coming from a pro-life perspective, a doctor or any other professional, that would and rightly be put down there as part of the information for the viewer. So that information was kept from the viewer. So the viewer was unaware, and this doctor that was presented as an objective kind of observer and expert is in fact himself a stringent or very strong campaigner for abortion in Britain. So you can't keep doing that and think you're going to get away with it. Eventually it comes to light, and I think that they have gone too far with this particular programme. You don't have to be a pro-life person just to want balance in what you're watching.
And the facts. And say,
facts.
Okay, because, for example, you could call yourself pro-choice, but say, gosh, I'm happy at how much the figures have increased. Because really, so you would say this programme wasn't so much as an investigative piece, but to me, it was really campaigning for wider access to abortion. That was the message, wasn't it? People are still having to travel, etc., etc. But they didn't talk to anybody, for example, who might have regretted their abortion, or to a mother who has a babe in arms or a toddler holding her hand, that she found whatever support she needed, for example. So those women really, in a sense, were silenced.
Yeah, their voices were completely excluded. But that has been part of the case with the 3-year review of the abortion law, and the chairperson of the 3-year review of the abortion law, Marie O'Shea, was interviewed for the purposes of this programme, and in the context of the calls to remove the 3-day wait. During her appearance before the Oireachtas Health Committee, she admitted that she hadn't spoken to any woman who'd availed of the 3-day wait. And she was challenged on that while she was at the Oireachtas Health Committee.
This again is on the record. You can get the transcript easily.
That's right. Yeah. It doesn't appear that the RTÉ Investigates team, I'm not sure if they were aware of her having appeared before the Oireachtas Health Committee on 2 occasions, and on both occasions being challenged on her lack of research, but they certainly didn't seek to present that to the public. We do have a new media commission, Commission Iman. I'm sure people will be making complaints to Commission Iman. Let's see if they will look at this. If you look at it in an objective way, those complaints should be upheld. It's really time for accountability. They went too far with that RTÉ Investigates programme. The bias was just too much. It was just too partisan. And I think that now the time for accountability is here, and things will have to change.
Eilís Mulroy of the Pro-Life Campaign, thanks so much for joining us on the show today. And if you want to connect up with the Pro-Life Campaign's work and you can find out a lot more on what myself and Eilís discussed, you can go to prolifecampaign.ie.